Guess who decided to catch COVID for the third time on the weekend where he wanted to do a PC build? Guess who's going to build a PC anyway?
So the most important parts to the build are your processor, your cooler, and your motherboard, because without the processor, whatever, nothing works. I guess same thing with the motherboard too, but you know what I mean. So for my build, I'm upgrading to a 5900X for the workstation. The server has the 5950X, which is going to be really cool, but this video is focused on the workstation because I already built the server, sorry. And we're using a Noctua NH-D15. The server has a normal D15. This one has the Chromax Black D15, which I really love the look of. And I also picked an MSI MPG B550 Gaming Carbon Wi-Fi. The reason why I picked that board specifically is because I have the B450 Carbon Gaming Wi-Fi for my 3700X build that I did last time, which you can click on the eye up in the corner if you want to watch that build. And I was really happy with that board. The only issues that I had with that board were just the fact that it wasn't really built with future expansion in mind. So by the time that I got it and they were doing more AGESA builds, more of like the AMD microcode, the board just didn't have enough flash memory. So unfortunate, but I'm happy with this one. This one fixes all those issues that I had. It's wonderful. It's got two PCIe slots and it's got two PCIe 16 slots and three PCI X1 slots. And of course, can't do this video without a little bit of that peel. Ooh. But wait, there's more. Ho 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 ho. I'm actually really excited about this board for the future because it actually has a header for USB 4, which is really cool. But unfortunately, in my case, this is the first case I've got that's got USB-C. So it's going to be a little bit before I can take advantage of that, but super excited. It's also got two M.2 slots, which I will be fully taking advantage of later on in the video. But first, I wanted to go ahead and unbox the Noctua NH-D15 here. It can be a little interesting of an unboxing experience. It's packed in pretty tight. It's very dense. The top layer box that you're going to see right here is just the mounting hardware, all the accessories. Then, of course, once you open up the box, we've got the Chromax fans. Those are the solid black fans, as well as the cooler itself. Opening the cooler box can be a little difficult. It's kind of this weird, like, not quite origami, but it's just like this weird, like, unfolding thing where the sides unfold on top of the tops unfolding, and then, like, so it's got this cardboard insert which protects the pre-installed fan, but you kind of have to fade out this or fold out this one panel in order to pull it up and release the cooler. It's really interesting. The cooler can't support two fans. I'm only doing one because I only have room for one. It's complicated. GPU is huge. It's okay. But just for comparison's sake, I wanted to compare the fan from the Chromax to the normal NH-D15. And as you can see, they are 100% identical. The only difference is the color, so don't feel too bad if you can find the D15 for cheaper, like I did. Now, inside the mounting hardware box is where you find the instructions as well as all of the brackets and such that you'll need. There's a set of instructions for AMD as well as a set of instructions for Intel. The Intel instructions are different, and they do require different pieces of hardware, so make sure that you're using the right version for the right socket that you have. The AMD one's pretty simple. You basically remove the built-in mounting hardware brackets. You install the new ones provided by Noctua using the spacers, and then you just screw the new CPU cooler directly on top of those new brackets that we install. It's pretty straightforward. But before we can get started on that, obviously, we need to install the CPU. So, gold triangle in the corner, that tells you which corner to lock it into when you put it down. So first you're going to lift the retaining arm, make sure you lift it out and up to get around the clip. And then it's just a matter of lining up that golden triangle with that little bit there in the corner. You'll notice that bit with the golden triangle is also the only bit that's a straight L. The others are diagonals. So another easy way to line it up. So basically just line it up with the socket, kind of give it a little bit of a jiggle until it just falls right in. And then once it falls in, it should be rock solid and stable, not moving. All you have to do is lower the retention bracket and you're done. Pretty easy. Now, the fun part is removing these. They do take a little bit of torque to get the initial kind of oomph going, but once they get going, they unscrew pretty easily. The brackets just come right off, and then we're going to put our new ones on there. So there are 4 spacers that you use. They are different between if you're using AM3 or AM4, so make sure you're using the right colored ones, and also make sure that you're using the right holes for AM3 or AM4. Screw everything in, just pop together like that. I'm deliberately skipping me installing the thermal paste here, so that way there's no right or wrong answer. So skipping over that. Once you get both sides installed, you set the cooler down directly on top of it, and there's 2 screws that you install into the pegs. I recommend kind of getting one side started. Once it starts to latch, you'll kind of feel it and it'll lift up. It's okay if it lifts up. It's not a big deal. You're still going to get great mounting force, and you don't need to worry about air bubbles or anything like that. But basically just install the one side until you feel it catch. You'll see immediately the whole thing lifted up as soon as it caught. And then we just kind of move over to the other side. And you'll have to do a little bit of pressure because this is spring loaded, but you basically just start screwing it down. Once it's screwed down and it's caught on that side, just go ahead and screw the whole thing down. Then you just install the fan. This part's actually pretty easy. You basically just slide it in and you lift the clips and done. They do take a fair bit of force, so make sure that you don't be afraid, like you're not going to break them. So just make sure that you're using enough force there. Now, the M.2 drives, unfortunately, I ended up not being able to use the PNY drive, but that's actually in the server, so no big deal. It's still being used, just not in the build here. But I really should have done this before I installed the cooler, but whatever. Hindsight's 2020. So we're gonna remove the kind of heat spreader bracket thing that it's got. Make sure that you peel the plastic on it before you install it. M.2 just pops right into place. Most drives will just kind of sit right into the bracket pre-installed. You screw it down. You put the heat spreader back down on top of it. Screw it in place. You're good to go. It's pretty straightforward. They're keyed. They only go in one way, and they're actually quite straightforward and simple. It's very slightly more advanced than installing an SD card. So if you can swap those out and you're not scared about like the spring throwing it out at you, then you'll be fine installing a card. So again, here in we're gonna do this over again. So just pop the drive in, screw it down, and you're done. Very easy. And don't forget to remove the plastic. I actually had to remove it again between takes. RAM is also something that's a little bit more complicated. You should have installed this before you installed the cooler, but whatever. Basically, just pop it in place, wait until you hear the click. And now we get to move to the Unholy Behemoth, and, well, you'll see. Yeah, this thing's massive. It's so big that I can't get it in frame. I'm as high as my mount will go, and I am zoomed out as far as I can go, and it barely fits in the frame. I love this case, though. It's massive. It's got 3 mounts just right here in the front for M.2. I'm sorry, not M.2. 2.5-inch SSDs. And the red bar also serves as a cable hider, so you can remove that and run cables and then kind of put that on there to hide your cables. It's pretty cool. The headers and everything are down here in the corner, so you just want to pull that bag off it. It comes with 4 fans pre-installed, which is pretty generous. I might end up replacing these fans. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of them, but they, pun, but they serve their goal. So we're going to go ahead and take off the back panel here so that we can do cable management. And lo and behold, there is a box with all kinds of extra stuff, accessories, and a big old fold-out manual. It's big enough that I also can't fit it in frame, so yeah, we're just going to not bother with that. And unfortunately, because of how big it is, I did have to cut actually assembling the PC because it was just all you could see was my shoulders just over the thing. There's no way I can make it work. But assembly's pretty straightforward. You plop the thing in, you install your graphics card, you screw everything down, you're done. And this is what it looks like. Unfortunately, the glare is a little bad, so I apologize for that. But let's go ahead and get one last peel. NZXT, this message is directly to you. Please don't ever again on another product that you have, ever put a sticker on the tempered glass. Put it on the plastic after you've, like, I don't understand. This is so annoying. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's easy to take off, but, like, what if it, like, rips? It's stupid.
And with all that done, the build is finally complete. Wow, this was a metric-ass load of work. I'm very tired. It took me like 8 hours to do, 6 hours to do, something like that. I don't even know. I wasn't keeping track. Just because of how often I'd need to like stop and relax and drink something and eat soup and all that good stuff. It's massive, in case you can't tell. It's literally so big that I do not have a way to get it in frame in a way that doesn't make me look like this big in the frame. So yeah, this is a very interesting build. So this will be, I'm filming these way out of order. I'm doing this before I'm doing anything else, so I don't exactly know which part this is going to be. But the next part is going to be booting Linux and getting it installed and walking through the software side of things and kind of showing everybody how all that's done. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully by the time I do that video, I don't sound like this anymore.